Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and today I'm coming to you with another EDC gear review. And if you're looking at the title of this video and the thumbnail, well, maybe you know what we're reviewing today. But as I'm filming this at this moment, I have no idea. I just know it's an LED flashlight from a company called Sofirn. They sent me 2 boxes, and the boxes really don't say much of anything about what's inside. I don't know what they look like. I don't know anything about the specs. They say nothing. But this company contacted me and said, hey, you've done a lot of EDC flashlight reviews. Would you like to check out our product? I said, absolutely. Because you know, sometimes you can find real gems. One of the EDC lights that I have been carrying around a whole bunch and have gotten a lot of use with is the ThruNite T1. This is a flashlight that I got into the channel for review. I have absolutely loved this flashlight. It has worked great. It is the perfect size to carry in the pocket. It has been a real joy to use everywhere I go. So it's one of those things I was not expecting to find when I reviewed this particular flashlight. So I want to review these. Who knows? These things may be the greatest things since sliced bread, or they could be complete junk. Well, let's go on this journey together. I'm going to adjust the camera, open these boxes, and see what's inside, and we'll find out together. All right, so here are the boxes that I was talking about. As you can see, they don't really say much at all about what's inside. This one just says set, and yeah, it is made in China. This one just says LED flashlight, and nothing on the box shows you what's inside. So let's go ahead and open these things up and see what we get. All right. Well, we seem to get a lot here. You get an owner's manual. This one says it's the SP10 V3. That's it. All right, let's get that to the side there. Get a lanyard, a charging cable. Looks like this is a battery charger. And then we get the light itself. Get all that out of the way here. And so that's what that one looks like. Let's go ahead and take the tag off, take a look at it. Actually, it's a pretty attractive looking flashlight here as compared to the ThruNite T1 that I've been carrying a bunch. It's a little bit thinner. It has a clip for the pocket as well. All right, so we'll try this thing out in just a moment, but let's see what's in the other box. I'll pull this out, and it seems to be another flashlight. Okay, so this one's a little bit bigger. This is the Sofirn SC31T. So once again, we get a charging cable, a lanyard, the flashlight itself, and the tag. Let's get this tag off of here. And here we go. Okay, so this tag, I think, says to open it up and take off the little plastic cover around the battery for it to work. Let's take a look at these 2 flashlights right here. The first thing I'm going to say is that both of them are actually kind of attractive. I like the way that they look. I like how both of them have knurling on the main tube. I think they're actually a very attractive looking flashlight. The bezels here are not very wide as compared to other flashlights that I have reviewed in the past. They're not really that big, so I don't know how much light those things are going to put out. So let's go ahead and screw off the back cap and take off the little tab. Let's screw that back on. Now, I don't know if these things have any power. I may have to charge them up for the next part of the review, but right now, oh, there it goes. Okay, so the tail cap is what turns it on. Well, that's interesting to have a green light in the button. Let's see if that cycles through anything. Oh yeah, it slowly gets brighter. Oh, that is very interesting in that it is not just a set level, it gradually gets brighter. All right, so I'll definitely have to read the owner's manual on this and kind of figure out how to adjust the brightness on it. All right, so let's take a look at this one here. Do the same thing. Let's take off the tail cap. Take out the little tag, which I'm assuming is there. There that is. Put that back on. And I think, we'll see if there's a button in the back. No, this one does not have a button in the back. It has a button here on the side. Ooh, that one just turns on the strobe. All right, so there's the solid beam. Nothing in the back, as I said, to adjust it. I mean, I'm going to have to read the owner's manual, and I'll show you what each one of those settings are and how to go through them, but this is just the unboxing to see what's inside. All right, so let me go ahead and get these things charged up. I'll read the owner's manuals, and I'll come back to you and show you how they work. All right, so after getting these things charged, I've learned how to use them on the smaller flashlight, which is the SP10 V3. It has 4 settings. If you hold the button down, it goes into a moonlight mode. Turn it off, just push it one time. If you push the button once, it goes into a low mode, which is still pretty bright. Turn that off. If you push it twice, it will go to high, which is really bright. I'm getting a lot of heat off of that. And then if you push it 3 times, it goes to strobe, which is what you would expect. And that's the 4 settings of that particular flashlight. On the larger flashlight, the SC31T, this has a feature that I absolutely love, which is different than all of the other flashlights I have ever reviewed, and that is the light can be on a sliding scale. And what I mean by that is the longer you hold the button down, it will either get brighter or dimmer, and you can stop it at any point. One of my complaints with some of the flashlights that I do carry, including the ThruNite T1, is that the low might be a little bit too dim and the bright and the high settings a little bit too high. There's nothing in between. Well, this, you have an infinite number of settings between those two. So you do have to use the tail cap. You push that down. It will start on whatever setting was last. You hold the button down, and in this case it's getting dimmer and dimmer all the way down to a moonlight mode. If I push and hold the button again, it will slowly get brighter all the way up to the max setting, and that is really bright. And as it's either dimming or getting brighter, you can stop it at any point. So I'll let it get dim, stop it right there, and that's at the setting I wanted it. That is pretty darn cool. So you have a lot of options with this. I have never seen any other EDC flashlight have this option, and I absolutely love it because that is honestly one of the big complaints I have with mini lights. The lows are too low and the highs are too high, and this gives you a ton of different options. All right, so let me adjust the camera. I'm going to turn off the lights here in the garage, and we're going to see what these beams look like. All right, so here we go. The camera's facing that little alcove in the back of my garage. We're going to start off with the smaller of the 2 lights. This would be more of what I would think of as the EDC light. So turn on the light. It does not have a very defined hotspot, but it's kind of there. I would say this is more of a floodlight than anything else. So you don't have a very centered hotspot. You have a good amount of spill around it. And the beam seems to be relatively directional in that it's not really lighting up the rest of the garage. Most of the light is going to the back of the garage there, right where I'm pointing it, and that is the low setting. It's pretty darn bright for a low. So now I'll turn it off, and now we're going to go to the high setting, and that is significantly brighter. In a way, I like the fact it doesn't have a very defined hotspot, in that it gives you a lot of light for what you're looking at. So this would not be like a tactical light or any of that, but this would be perfect for having a light in your pocket and just needing a light for maybe like basic car repair, drop something under the seat, just need to light something up. This is really, really perfect and gives a lot of light. Unfortunately, there's no specs on the box, so I'm not really sure how many lumens this is, but this is definitely, I would say, around 800 lumens or more. It's pretty darn bright, and from holding it, I am getting a little bit of heat on the front of the bezel, but nothing that would be uncomfortable. So also there is the moonlight setting. Now I don't know if that's coming across on camera or not. It might be a little bit, and that is really low. I'm not really sure why there's moonlight settings. I know some people like having them as an option, but for me they're useless. They're just too dim, but this one does have it. So there we go. Now we're going to move over to the larger of the 2 flashlights, and it should start in moonlight mode, which is where I last set it. So that's going to be a little bit brighter than the moonlight mode of the other light. And now I'm going to slowly raise it. And so that's probably about a medium setting there. The hotspot on this light is a little bit more centered. It has about the same amount of spill, but it's a very directional light. It's not really filling up the garage behind me or to the side. Now let's see if we can get this thing to go even brighter. And I think that's about the brightest setting on this light, which I have to say the smaller light I think puts out almost as much light as this one. But the center of this light's a little bit different. I would say this light here would probably be better for camping. If you're hiking, you're taking a walk, it's probably going to have a longer throw to it because the center of the beam is more tight. Now let's see if we can dim the light. And here we go. And I'll go to a kind of a low setting there. That's pretty nice. As I mentioned, the thing about this light that I like a lot is that you aren't set into certain lumen settings. If you like things in between, you can have this light set for exactly what your application requires. That is something that is really nice about this light. So I am really impressed with this thing. I like the way it looks, I like the beam, and I like the lighting options. All right, so let me turn the lights back on and I'll show you what else I've discovered about the light, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. All right, so what are my final thoughts on these two flashlights from Sofirn, the SP10 V3 and the SC31T? Well, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised by both of them. Their packaging definitely needs to make clear what's in the box because I really didn't have that high of hopes when I opened them. I was like, I have no idea. These are gonna be super duper cheap, but I'm pretty happy with the products that I got. Let's talk about the smaller one first. One of the things I wish this one would have a port if you are going to use a rechargeable battery to charge it like many of the other flashlights that are on the market now. When I do carry my through night, I can charge this just using a USB cable. This does not offer it. They do provide a charger, but an advantage to this particular flashlight is even though this is a rechargeable battery, it is the same size as a AA, so a standard old AA will work in this flashlight, so battery availability is probably going to be pretty easy for most people. It also has O-rings all over the place, so I'm assuming this is supposed to be water resistant. I'm sure it's not waterproof, but definitely water resistant, and they do give you a couple of extra O-rings in the package. And like many of my EDC lights, I did add the lanyard loop. That is perfect for pocket carry. I actually find those to be relatively useful. I'm happy with the beam and the size of this light. Now, on the larger one, I absolutely love the option of this, of having that variable lumens where you can have any setting you could possibly want. Something that also came in the package with this lanyard that I didn't catch when I opened it is that it does have one of these little latches. So you don't have to tie it onto the light. You can simply just tie the lanyard around this or attach this to a keychain. And I'm pretty sure you can put this on either light, but this one seems to work a little bit better on the larger light. So I like that a lot. And I do run these little lanyard loops. I find them to be very beneficial and useful. And unlike the smaller light, this one does have a USB charger. So you have a lot of cool modern options on this. It seems to be well built. The construction is nice. The finish on both of these looks really nice. Let me give you guys a couple of close-ups on these. You guys can hopefully, if it gets into focus here, you guys will be able to see the knurling. There it goes. This is actually a really attractive light. Very happy with how that looks and feels in the hand. That knurling definitely gives you a nice grip on it. And then here is the smaller light. Get that one into focus. There you go. I like the color. Maybe they offer this in other colors if that is what would interest you. I do like the black, but you guys know my favorite color is green. So if they offer these in some type of other tactical colors, I would be interested in those as well. So I will put a link in the description below where you can find out more about these flashlights and you can decide, are they for you? But to be very honest with you, I'm really happy with their performance, how they feel, and their construction. Yeah, they're made in China, and if you're looking for a quality flashlight but don't want to buy from that other company that everyone seems to hate their marketing for, well, this might be an affordable alternative. And yeah, at this price point, it's probably not going to be a competitor with Streamlight or Surefire. I still think they're pretty darn good quality. So there you go. My review of the Sofirn flashlights. So on these lights, how would I rate them on my star system? Well, on the smaller SP10 V3, I'm easily going to give this thing 4 out of 5 stars. It works well. It didn't exceed my expectations, but it seems to be really high quality for what you get. Now, when it comes to the larger SC31T, I got to double check that model number. I don't know why I can't remember that. But yes, the SC31T, I actually give this thing 4.5 stars out of 5, mainly because of the option with that variable lumen light. I love that. That is the perfect option that I wish more flashlights had. It's well built, it looks good, seems to be really sturdy. So there you go. My review of Sofirn EDC flashlights. Do you guys own one of these? And do you guys like these flashlight reviews? I actually like them. I know they don't get a lot of views, but I enjoy making them and checking out all this EDC gear. So let me know in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.